welcome to the Kash and Dash Show, Unscripted, episode 317 with Owen Dashner.
And Ted Kaasch.
And Aiden Bear.
Hello. Prison Aiden. So, hey, update to the story I told last week about losing my wedding ring and my credit card and a whole bunch of other life disasters that happened.
And buying a house.
So a few days go by. I've been talking about softball, like my kids full on softball. We're just games every day.
Traveling all the time.
Yep. I have to go right from here to Onawa, Iowa, which has a nice casino actually. But I won't be attending that. The casino, I mean. Anyway, so I find my wedding ring lodged inside of my baseball glove from when I was playing catch with my daughter, and she's working on pitching, like she's never pitched. And I go and put I'm looking all over the house, dude. Like I tore my car.
How do you find it in there?
It stuck in there. Like my hand was obviously sweaty or whatever. Yeah. And when I pulled my hand out, the ring stayed right in the finger hole. So I put on my glove and we get done and I like pull it off and I'm like, huh. There it is.
It came off.
It came off. It was on my hand. It came off. So it was like I was like, oh my god.
What did Jen say?
Dude, this is my life.
Yeah.
Like she just looked at me and shook her head like, yep, that checks out.
Did you go buy a new ring in between?
I almost did. But here's the thing. Here was a smart move I made when we got married. Jen's like, there is zero chance that you are going to have that wedding ring when it's all said and done at the end, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the end is, whether it's me dying or whatever. So why don't we just get a cheap one? So I splurged as much as I could afford at the time on my meager salary at Conagra Foods. Bought her the engagement ring, and then I spent I think I bought this on Overstock.com. This is a true story.
That's right. This is around back then.
And it's a titanium wedding band that was like $70. So it was a good investment. But this is actually a replacement ring because the very first year we were married, I was riding a jet ski and it tipped on me. It was one of those older ones that wasn't very stabilized. I'm just calling it that instead of my inability to ride it.
Yeah.
And I fall off of it and my hand was on the brake or whatever and it snagged and pulled it off. And I looked for like an hour just trying to feel around in the sand and the mud and muck.
Nothing.
Yeah. So this is my second one, but hey, it's still there.
20
years later, Ted, I still have the same ring.
It's my wedding ring?
Yeah, I do. Is that an Aura ring?
It's an Aura ring.
Wait. Where's your wedding ring?
So for the fifth time it broke.
Broke?
Yeah, the band keeps on breaking, and I paid a lot of money for my wedding.
What is it made out of?
White gold.
Okay.
Anyway, so it keeps on snapping, and it just got ready today. I'm gonna go pick it up right for the podcast. But it's got like a carat of diamonds on the top. It's it's a really nice ring. But at the time I was working out with it all the time. Like, it kept on bending and snapping when I was at the gym. So now I don't wear it to the gym, but it's still snapped again. And they're like, well, we really think that you need to cut it in half and then replace all the bond. But they want like $1,000 to do that. So I was like, you know what, just repair it. I'm not really worried about that much. It lasts, a couple years every time I fix it.
I have so many questions right now, but I'll just continue on. I've never heard of this in my life. Wedding band snapping from lifting or whatever.
Yeah. And I've also
5 times.
Yeah, and I've also lost 2 diamonds.
Well, I for sure believe that.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of a wedding band snapping. You need titanium, bro. You want me to send you my Overstock guy?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay.
they're like it's now getting so worn out. It's like thinning out to this little band. They're like, we need to cut it in half, rebuild the whole thing.
Well, speaking of so I talked last week. We got our boat out of storage. I told you
told the story,
the disaster story with that.
Did you make him pay for anything?
No, I mean, I feel like I'm powerless. So the marina was blaming the storage place. The storage place was blaming the marina. So I got no accountability on either side. Finally, I was like, you know what? That's fine. You're just not going to get my business, period. And I'm selling my boat, so I'm not going to dick around over this for $200 or whatever you're going to offer me, right? So I was just like, peace out. I'm done. Got the boat in. Anyway, you and I were talking before this about like the whole. The best day of boat ownership is the first day and the last day. They're equally.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to the last day. But you also talked about pools, and it's kind of the same thing.
When we had Darren on, we had this conversation.
Yes. And so, I mentioned, I think last episode, we finally found a house that we like and got under contract and we're going to move into at the end of July.
And no joke, that whiskey cellar.
Dude, I sent you that video. Did you see that? Aiden, did I send that to you? So there's this dude. I didn't tell this last week, did I?
You talked about the cellar.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's a picture.
A video of. Honestly, it looks like a liquor store. My house right now, or the one I'm moving into.
I mean, it is
sadly
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's not gonna. None of that's gonna remain. But anyway, so check this out. So my wife's like, "Look, if we're gonna move off of the lake, I at least want some water. We need to get a pool." So that's always been my kind of like guiding light on what we're looking for house criteria.
Yeah,
it's hard to find in the Midwest. We don't have much for summer season, and there's not a ton of houses where we want to live on the Iowa side. And so finally found one, had room for a pool in the backyard, but it has a septic system. Mm-hmm. And septic systems have what they call laterals, which basically there's a tank where all the stuff goes, and then there's a distribution box, and then that distribution box goes to typically, 4 laterals that go out
so
from
the box. So you'd have to tear up the whole entire septic system to put a pool in.
Yes. So they're 100 feet long. So it's pretty much the entire yard in the thing. But I don't know where they're located. This is funny. I was trying to find the.
But this house has a pool.
It does not have a pool. That's why I'm talking about this.
I thought it did. I'm sorry.
No. It has room for a pool.
Yeah.
But it has a septic system in the backyard where the pool would go.
Which is a whole nother expense.
Yes. So I'm like, all right, here's what I went through. So I'm like, where are the septic laterals? Because maybe we could put a pool in without even disturbing them, because you have to have a certain amount of setback from the septic. Obviously, you don't want poop in your pool.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I call septic company, and as part of a septic system, for those of you not familiar, there is, at least in Iowa and I believe Nebraska, you have to have what they call a time of transfer inspection. So that just says, Ted, you're selling your house to me. I'm buying it. It has a septic system. The state will basically review any inspection that's done at the time of sale. So you have a septic company, they go out and inspect it. They submit the results to the state. The state evaluates it, and they say, this either passes or fails. And if it fails, they require the owner of the property, the current owner, to replace the tank or whatever's bad in the system. There, as a new buyer, you walk into it and you either have a new tank or an existing one that supposedly works. In this case, I'm trying to find the schematic of where exactly the laterals are located. So I get on Claude, and I'm typing in all this stuff, and I'm like, here's this property I'm buying. We need to find the septic laterals, this and that. It does this whole back door entry into the state of Iowa, like a really obscure, section of it.
Shut up, it found it.
Yes. And so I had to enter all this stuff, and it took me like an hour to do this search.
Yeah.
Finally found it, but there were 2 different layouts. One of them went all the way across the yard, and one went like down the yard. And it was going to be a complete, difference in what the result was. So I find it, and I'm like, hey, I need to know which is which, like which is the actual one, because the schematic was from when the house was pre-built. So it's on a golf course, and they had the lot, and they basically drew the schematics, and they said, here's 2 examples of where we could do it, but I never got the final.
Yeah.
Right? Find it, call a septic company. Guy shows up. So we talked about my whole witching expedition with a septic company.
Which I didn't know anything about that when you talked about it. I remember I had to Google it and see the picture of it. Yeah,
it's crazy. So they found the laterals, but come to find out, so I finally get the results back. I've been waiting for the state of Iowa to give their ruling on did the tank pass or did it not pass. It passed.
Nice.
No, not nice. Because I want the seller to replace the tank because it's 25 years old.
Okay.
So I wanted them to be on the hook for it, and then they would have to move the tank, and I would be able to have input on where it went.
Yes.
So then I could be like, okay, I'm going to get part of the pool excavation and all that stuff paid for, right?
Okay.
Did not work, right? So
and most people are like, yes, it passed, and you're like, no.
No, yeah. I'm like, I'm unhappy about this because I know I'm going to have to redo the whole thing now.
Yeah.
And so I'm following your advice on this, where you said, when I put a pool in,
don't do a pool.
No, well, no, I'm not following that. We're getting a pool at some point, but you said always get one that has a cover, an automatic cover.
Totally.
It's worth it, right? It's like 20K extra.
20K add-on.
But the problem is you have to get basically an exact rectangle, right? Pretty much. Like you can't have an oblong or a kidney bean shaped
That's
pool.
my understanding of it too.
Yes. So,
but it changed, like by just putting that electric cover on, you pretty much it eliminates all cleaning.
Yeah. So now you're not having to badger your kids every day to go out and pick a leaf out of the thing.
Yeah, because like I'm gonna use it, I'm gonna open it up. I'm not using it. I close it up, so then there's no debris in there. That's gonna be so enjoyable for you to have that. Like, it's gonna take all the BS out of pool owning, except when a tree falls on, like punctures it or something.
I can't wait for that. Thankfully, there's not many trees out there. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's been a little bit about my week. But
the other big pool rule: do not ever allow any type of glass ever at the pool, around the pool. No glass cups, no glass bottles, no glass pots.
This just reminded me. Have I told this story about going to Orlando when we went to Disney World and Universal Studios? And we stayed basically on a resort property that was, I think, Universal owned. And it was kind of like 1950s themed. So you go to this like...
it was in 1950s.
No. Yeah, I'm back in my day.
Whoa, what?
No. It was 1950s themed, Dick.
I mean, Darren would have probably thought it was 1950s.
So anyway, we stayed at this resort, and it's really cool. It's kind of like a mid-century modern vibe. And so Jen, there's a pool, right? And I think if memory serves, this would have been, I don't know, like my kids were probably 10 and maybe 7, maybe. I don't know. We went there. Yeah, we went there, a few years back. Go to this resort. It's really nice. We're in the hotel room, getting ready to go to the pool. And we're packing up our pool bag and stuff like that. And we have some, we bought some like, I don't know, Mike's Hard Lemonade and a few beers and stuff like that and put it in the fridge. And we were just going to like take it out to the pool. But they have like a strict no glass policy,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
So obviously, which I now know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to take a couple out there. They're not going to know. It's not going to be a big deal. I'll just do it, kind of on the sly. So I put like 2 Mike's Hard Lemonade glass bottles and I roll them up in a towel, right? So they're kind of like on both ends of the towel, if you can picture this.
So slick.
So I walk out to the pool. I don't remember why, but I think I was carrying something else and I kind of tipped the towel thing. One of the bottles slides out the end, shatters right by the pool.
Yeah.
Like I'm feet away from the pool. It's packed. Yeah. I mean, it's Disney, right?
Yeah.
Disney Universal.
Yeah.
I felt like the entire world was looking at me at that time.
They were.
And they were.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, not only did that happen, but one of the glass shards basically went directly sideways into my big toe, and it's bleeding everywhere. There's like a geyser of blood coming out of my toe. So I'm frozen. There's broken glass all around me. Everyone in the pool is just staring daggers at me.
Yeah.
I am mortified. Like, this is the worst moment probably of my life, embarrassment-wise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So there's like all these kids that are lifeguards. I mean, they're probably, I don't know, 18 years old at best. And they're coming over, they're looking at me like I am just the biggest piece of crap in the world.
Yeah.
They're like, dude,
yeah,
did you not see the 18 signs that said don't bring any glass? And I'm like, I know. I am so sorry. Like, I'm falling all over myself apologizing. Just felt like
they closed the
2 inches tall. They did not.
Okay.
They should have, probably.
Yeah.
So we're going like a fine-tooth comb through everything. I'm helping. I'm bleeding everywhere. They're trying to get me a towel. I got it wrapped around my toe. It's a disaster. So I find, I mean, you got to imagine what it's like having your spouse do this in front of everyone. So she has secondhand mortification, embarrassment.
Jessica would have just taken the kids and gone.
She would have been just gone. Yeah, she's like, I'm out. Good luck with all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that I don't know why I'm telling the story, but
because
it was not fun.
Here's the deal: if you own a pool, the reason it's such a big deal, more than just stepping on it. If you own a pool and that broken glass gets in the pool, you either have to drain the whole pool and then vacuum it out. Or if you have a liner in your pool, which is in the Midwest, that's how you do pools, you can never drain the water fully out because the liner will shrink up and then you got and the water holds it down. So
okay, hydrostatic pressure.
You always have to have half water in pool at all times.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So my understanding is, and I've never had to have this done, there's special vacuum equipment they have to bring in to vacuum out the pools, and it can cost thousands of dollars.
I can't wait to put a pool in. This sounds really like something I want to do.
Well, we had this big windstorm a couple days ago here in town.
Yeah.
And it blew every one of our pots over. Well, most of our pots are plastic. Well, then we have these like
little shards of plastic.
Huge glass pots. Like not glass, but
ceramic.
Ceramic. And they actually all flew over too. And we have like palm trees in them and everything. And there were shards off those. Not in the pool, but around the pool. So now I went and just literally yesterday ordered a whole bunch of more plastic tall pots to put these in because all this stuff can blow over at any time.
So do you have regret about not buying the automatic cover when you moved in?
No, we didn't build the pool.
Right. But couldn't you have it retrofitted?
No.
It's a huge...
We would have to... We would do it totally because we have these pine trees that surround the pool, which look beautiful.
Yeah, they dump everything.
But the needles are a nightmare.
Yeah.
First thing I did is I called the pool company. Like, what do I got to do to get a cover on this? He goes, like, first off, you would have to rip out all the concrete.
Okay.
And then he goes, you would have to redo the whole out. There's like, so it's concrete up, and then there's metal liner.
Sure.
He's like, all that would have to be ripped out also, and then it has to be all retrofitted.
So kids listening to this, if you want to buy a pool, the message here is probably not a great idea.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
So what else is going to on with you this week?
Well, I had a question for you that was in my head.
Okay.
So we just got an interview in Darren Zolke.
Yeah.
And he got really big into coaching. And I don't know if I ever asked you, do you have a business coach, or have you ever had a business coach or a mindset coach?
Like an official one?
An official one,
like
yeah.
where I'm paying someone to do it?
Yeah.
No.
Something you ever thought about, or is this just...
I don't want one.
Yeah.
No.
Not something that's ever intrigued you?
No, not really.
I mean, it's kind of surprising in my mind.
I pick and choose basically what I want to learn, and I found that I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yeah. Well, a good coach won't tell you what to do.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, I don't want it. Like
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm fine with it.
No,
like everybody swears by him, or not everybody, but like people will swear by him, and I'd be like, that's great. That's not me. I don't want it.
It's helped me with some focus, but I
get it.
I was pretty sure that you haven't, but it's been a long time since I brought that up, and I was just wondering.
I'm more of a collaboration versus direction type of that's what I prefer. Yeah. So if I need help, I prefer to ask people that I choose that I know have those, those skill sets or knowledge or whatever. And it would probably help me. I get that, but I'm of the age and experience level where I don't want that type of commitment to it. Like I just don't. I'm not in growth mode anymore. I want to do stuff I want to do, and like I don't need to. And I've heard you talk about direction you've gotten and some of the things that you've been involved in since being coaching. And by the way, I will couch this with, you've made leaps and bounds on knocking out a whole bunch of goals, not due to your coaching, but as a result of
it helped.
Yeah, it helped. It's helpful. I get that. I'm not going to poke holes in the theory or idea that it's going to be helpful. I'm sure it will, but I'm resisting the accountability of it, and I don't want the commitment of it. That's my whole.
Fair enough. I pretty much knew the answer I was going to get to that, but that was worth the conversation, because I mean, when we interviewed Darren, he got really big into coaching and the mindset coaching, which I'm doing right now, and it does help.
And I don't know where that comes from. I think it's a little bit of nature versus nurture too, because we talked with Darren quite a bit about the whole difference between having I guess we didn't focus on this part, but I was kind of thinking in my head about the employee mentality versus a business ownership mentality. And like when you grow up as a kid, if you have parents that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that, kind of are, they kind of eat what they kill, it's a whole different ball game than somebody that's just going to work 9 to 5. It's the whole rich dad, poor dad mentality, right? Not always, but a lot of times.
I get your point.
And I don't know, man. I've always just kind of had that run and gun. I felt like something is under my seat all the time, like a fire. Mm-hmm. So I'm always want more and want to get better and do more. And so I've never had a problem with motivation. It's just been execution and discipline and, maybe focusing on the right things. And maybe that's something that I could look into, but I just haven't really ever had a desire to sign up for somebody bossing me around. I already have a lot of that with partners and you making fun of me and everybody else.
I'm definitely not bossing you around.
But I think it's something to where like I feel like I've gotten to a point where I know what I want to do, and the way that I'm going to get there will work itself out, and I'm not to the point where I want to be like, I need goals and I need to go out and do all these things. Like I feel like I'm good.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Well, you've gotten great success, and you've gotten to a level that most people haven't in this industry. So it's what you're doing is working. Obviously.
Well, thanks. I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, it's there's different levels and different stuff people want, but like I've never really been a materialistic guy either, and that's not what we're talking about. I realize, but I'm kind of making a lateral move with the house that we're moving into. And yes, we live on a lake, and it's great. And I get this is a first world problem discussion that we're having right now. But like it's.
But you also don't have the $1 million.
I don't need
house.
like I've had 6 vehicles in my life, and I've totaled 2 of them.
Yeah.
So and I'm 51.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't need to go out and buy it. I had no shade against people that like vehicles. You get what I'm saying, though.
No, yeah.
Like I like nice clothes. That's maybe my vice. I like to have nice golf.
My
equipment.
toy car is very old and very affordable.
Yeah,
so.
and I like traveling.
Yeah.
So I like spending money on the things that I enjoy. I don't need I don't give a crap about having the nicest stuff and the nicest whatever. And I know that's not what you're asking, but yeah.
No, it is what it is.
But I am motivated. Like I do want more for myself. It's just not material stuff. It's just like getting better about everything.
My motivation is, just providing for the family, having updating our house is a thing that we do because we bought a very modest home, same as the discussion you're having. And I have no problem taking my old car that doesn't impress anybody and doing some tweaks on it, making it faster.
Hey, let me ask you something if I could get serious for a second.
Yeah.
So in our episode upcoming with Darren that we alluded to, we touched on basically childhood and potentially trauma during childhood that leads to basically your viewpoints later in life.
Yeah.
And do you think at all, and you've talked a little bit about this, not to pick a scab here, but you've talked about, kind of some tough things that you went through as a kid with having material things were not really something that you got a lot of new stuff, right? So you had to make do with what you had, and it was a struggle. When you got new things, it was because you needed them, not because you wanted them. Mm-hmm. Whereas I didn't really have that type of upbringing. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious your take on this now. Do you put a value on material things as an example that you have made it? Do you think there's any part of you that does that?
No, I
like you have to show that you have you've gotten better or you're like good enough. Does that make sense?
I mean, I don't know how to properly answer that. I think there's some middle ground to that in all honesty. Because I remember like when I was super young and we mentioned some podcasts and we just didn't have like literally. I remember my shoe at the point of like my whole entire shoe coming apart from the front and my toes sticking out the front, and that happened. That was the point we needed new shoes. But I also remember like when we switched schools and the kids getting the Reebok pumps and stuff, and I'm like, and that wasn't even, or the Jordans, and it wasn't even in the feasibility.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't even an option.
No, it wasn't like something I went home and asked my parents because I just
you already knew.
I already knew, and I did, but also it really like would affect my mom to not be able to do that. Mm-hmm. But I also remember we're older, and I remember the generation of the Tommy Hilfiger stuff coming out and being able to, and I started at 16 or late 15, early 16. I started working for my own self and and my mom would do her best to, my mom and dad would do their best to give me some nice clothes that, around that age, they started doing a little bit better in life. And then also I was working, so I could also pitch in on some stuff. And I remember getting a nice pair of jeans or some designer shirts, but I'd go to like TJ Maxx and get them.
Yeah.
And then being recognized, I guess, at that time, that did mean a lot to me back then for the first time, not being made fun of my clothes.
Yes.
And like,
yes. That's why I'm asking this question.
So that, I guess I really haven't thought about it, but that made a big deal for me back then. Mm-hmm. And so I don't like looking like a piece of crap on the way I dress.
Is that why you get your hair cut every 2 weeks?
No, it's because my hair grows that fast.
And your car washed every day?
Well, it's a free car wash one. I make sure my car's always clean.
So the evidence might prove otherwise to what you're saying.
Well, I'm talking specifically about clothes. I like to dress nice, and I think that does probably play in a role in that of going through that in my younger years.
Yeah.
So
no, it's fair.
And I never really thought about it, but I'm a car guy, and so that is my thing with my cars, I guess. I mean, to switch topics, though, you mentioned fun stuff in my week.
Yeah.
Well, when we're recording this is College World Series week, which is the Airbnb week.
Oh, right? Yes. I haven't even asked you about this. Like, what's the bookings like?
Well, man, it's slow.
What?
Yeah, like last year, I made $21,000 on my downtown house. In
Just the one
in this
property, one house.
one house in
Yep.
June.
Yep.
I made $21,000.
Yep.
Right now, I have a booking in there that's about $4,600 for a week. And the second week of CWS isn't even booked yet.
Wow.
And then I cut the prices last week down by half.
Wow.
And then somebody hit me up yesterday. I was like, "Hey, I'll book it if you knock another $600 off." And I'm like, "No."
I know this, probably isn't fair to ask, but do you think that's because of like the economy and
do.
like gas prices and
Berkshire was
travel?
Berkshire was way slower.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was booked and did really good on that. But this CWS booking, I have a great group in there right now, and then I'm vacant after that, which is unheard
That's
of.
crazy.
But crazy part about that too is get a phone call this morning from my Airbnb tenant, which they actually hit me up since we've been sitting around. I don't know what they're saying, but they're like, it's 7:15 in the morning, and we just got people knocking on the door that we need to move our cars out of the driveway because the city decided to replace the sidewalk.
Great.
And so they're like, we think you knew about this, and this is not how we want to start off our morning at our Airbnb, not being able to use the driveway for the next 2 weeks.
And for those reasons, I'm out.
And I'm like, first off, I am sorry. Yes, they complained about the couple cracks in there, and I submitted my proposal from the local foundation company to foam fill it, and they went ahead and just replaced it anyway.
Okay.
And I'm like, of course they're not going to believe me.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, let me know how I can make this right. I'm sorry that you're dealing.
So
with
you're
it.
like, hey, free stay, free. No, I'm kidding.
But now they're having to park half a block down the road.
Yeah.
Because all the construction equipment's there replacing the sidewalk. Dude, there's hairline cracks in this. I'm so irritated with the city on this.
Yeah.
As I'm walking my dog yesterday, I was even thinking about this as I'm like jumping over in the higher end neighborhood compared to this 125-year-old neighborhood, where the sidewalks are worse in my neighborhood than that neighborhood. I'm so ill on it.
So I have one thing I wanted to share. So I'm in this interesting situation. I say it's actually we. I have a couple partners in this deal, but office building I own in Council Bluffs. Talked about it. Flooded. We've had a ton of problems with it, but we're in lease up. We got approached by the state of Iowa to lease an entire floor. And there's, I think, 21 individual offices in this floor.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. But like most of these offices, you would typically rent to like an owner user or like somebody that's a financial planner or something like that. They just need a small office to go to. The layout's a little weird. The second floor is kind of unique. Like nobody wants an office on that floor. So they came to us, and office takes a long time to lease. I mean, you're talking a couple of years to get a building leased up, maybe even more.
But they want the whole floor.
They want the whole floor. Huge deal.
Yeah.
And so they approached us, and the challenge with this thing is, like, if we rented out each unit individually, we could probably make roughly about $9,000 a month on that floor alone with just regular market rate leases. Here's the thing, though. Like, if somebody came along and they said, hey, we want to rent 4 of your offices, we'd give them a price break. If you take 4, we'll cut off, $50 a month or whatever it is. So there's that. So there's some variability to it. But like, let's say fully leased market rent, everybody was renting one office. That would be roughly about $9,000. So state of Iowa enters the picture. They basically say, okay, this is the public defender's office of the state of Iowa. I probably shouldn't be talking about this on air, but I am anyway.
Why not?
So they want to lease the entire floor. They need to be close to the courthouse, which we are. We're like a block away. Public defenders obviously makes sense. They're having a hard time finding space. They need this and that, but they need a secure entry into their floor. So, which we don't have. It's just basically you go up an elevator and you go to the second floor, you walk out, you're in the hallway. There's a bunch of offices, right? So they want a glass vestibule or like a plexiglass vestibule. Like you walk out of the thing, you have to have a key fob to get into it. Long story short, it's going to be like $18,000 to get this thing put in, key fob access, and they need an ADA bathroom. So we have to modify our bathroom to accommodate a wheelchair. So we do a counter to their proposal. I don't remember what it started at, but here's the punchline. So they're like, we want $18,000 in tenant improvements, which is what I just talked about. So you can typically build that into a lease. And you could say, okay, we'll do that over a longer term lease and we're going to amortize it. So basically, we're going to be able to recoup that as owners through a higher dollar amount that we're going to charge per square foot. You get it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the proposal. And then they came back yesterday and said, we have $6,000. That is all that's in our budget. Like, this is the government. You're not getting any more. This is what we have. It's gross lease.
BS.
So no, this is legit.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't go back to the well. We're done. This is our last card. We're not negotiating anymore. $6K, take it or leave it. We can move in right after you get the glass vestibule done. They're in a month lease. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying the entire second floor is vacant right now. It's probably going to take me 2 years to lease that floor. And they're coming here with $6K, and that's going to be paid every single month.
For a very long time.
I will be able to recover that $18,000 tenant improvement that we're doing in 3 months.
Because it'd be sitting vacant.
Yes, it'd be 100%. Yeah, because there's 2 other floors that have vacancies on them.
Yeah,
so they're going to fill those first probably.
And realistically, these guys are growing. They might buy another floor.
And it's a 5-year lease.
Yeah,
but here's the unfortunate thing: they're locked for 3, so it's $6K for 26, 27, 28, and then we have a chance for kind of like a nominal, lease increase for the last 2 years. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to take it. We're taking it.
I would too.
Yeah, it's because it's like, and not only that, we're trying to pay for an elevator that has been defunct or having problems. So we have to mod the elevator, which is like $380,000.
Cool.
Yeah. And we have a loan that's going to be $325 that we can get from the bank in the form of an advance. So we're going to try and piecemeal this and pay for some of that, recoup it through cash flow, and it's just an interesting exercise. There's a lot of moving parts to this.
Yeah, sell this.
So commercial leasing is we got to get leased. I mean, nobody's going to buy a half vacant office building.
No, and this will help.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a huge lift to the NOI and the rent roll and all that.
Because
it was just, I've never dealt with this before. You know what I mean?
And the likelihood that they're going to potentially grow in one other floor in the future?
Maybe. I doubt it. I mean, nobody's hiring that many public defenders for the state of Iowa.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's something new that happened to me this week. So,
man, and then so things are finally coming together. This water damage property that was years of conversation is making money. You have your property in Missouri, and that's almost done.
Well, it's done. Yeah, we're just leasing it.
It's all done.
Yeah, it's all done.
I thought
construction's 100% done.
I didn't know you're 100% now.
Yeah,
and that is leasing.
Yep.
and finally,
but it's not break even yet. That's that neither one of them are.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like,
let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get it leased up. So that's the challenge with these redevelopment and development projects is like you sign up for them, just be prepared. You have 5 years probably before you're going to see any profit whatsoever.
And you have a development with some partners on Dodge Street.
Yep.
And
Dodge Street.
And how's that built?
And Ralston.
Yeah. And how are those? Where are those at? Yeah, Ralston one. I mean, that conversation's been going on for years. Way longer than
4 years. Yeah.
So where are those all at?
that'll be completed in late 26. So this year, the Ralston deal. That one, it's fine. It's a small. I mean, we screwed up a lot of stuff on this thing, but a
lot of learning lessons.
Yeah, a lot of learning lessons.
A lot of failing forwards.
A lot of failing forwards. It's going to be great. It's going to be small. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The Dodge Street development's really cool. I can't take any credit for that because I'm just an LP in that. So I put some money into a development.
But my point is, you at one point a couple years ago, you're like, man, I got all this money going out. I have these projects going on. Like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
And now you're finally starting to see some of these fruits. Like you're starting to see the end.
Well, I'm seeing the progress get to a point. It's kind of like when you're drowning. If you're playing a video game, and then the water level happens to drop to a point where you can breathe a little bit. That's where I'm kind of breathing.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm dry. That's probably a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember talking about this with you, and you're like, you had all this going on. I'm like, man, this is all. I mean, you're gonna learn some stuff. You're gonna be able to grow from this.
24 was a rough year.
Yeah.
That was a really bad year.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap by talking a little bit about the podcast coming up with Darren.
Yeah.
Darren is from Norfolk, Nebraska, and he has his own RIA meetup group there. We knew he was successful. We didn't know that all the stuff he was going on. And I mean, honestly, a mirror image of probably where you were at his age.
Yeah, I mean, great dude. He's made a lot of moves. Started right off the bat with multifamily. Bought a family commune. You can hear about that in Wednesday's episode.
You love that.
I do. I've never heard
a lot of time
and
on
he
that.
and not only that, but he did it with subject to financing. So basically, taking over somebody else's mortgage payment and becoming, you're on title, but you're paying somebody else's low mortgage rate. Did a lot of really cool stuff. Has a big family support system, and we talked a lot about kids and how you can help them navigate life and what our individual thoughts are on college and how you can finance it. How do you set your kids up for success? And our different points of view about that. I think anybody listening to that will probably have an opinion on it, and I think it's all a great conversation. Yeah.
If I had to describe one word for Darren, it'd be discipline. Because if it comes to how he runs his business, how he runs his family, his faith, his go attitude, I mean, the guy is very disciplined.
Yeah, I would say positivity is my kind of like takeaway from Darren. Every time I meet him, he's just like super, like he just seems like he's happy all the time. And I know he's not, but he's a very positive dude. Yes. And I think you guys will get a lot out of that, especially if you have a family and you have a family that's involved in the business or not, or you're trying to figure out how to make them be involved more in your day-to-day life. We talked a lot about how you share information with your spouse on what's too much, what's not enough, like how do you get a happy relationship in relation to your business with your spouse or significant other. So yeah, a lot of good life stuff in Wednesday's episode.
When you talk to somebody and they tell you that they've given away 3 of their cars to people in need,
yeah,
that tells you a lot about the person.
Yeah, usually those are like 85-year-old dudes that are like, I have junk cars in the thing and I'll donate them to whatever.
It says so much about the person.
Yeah, he's definitely got a servant, type of a mindset, and he's very big on coaching and self-improvement and family and faith and all those things. So just really good guy.
But in strap on, because when you listen to this podcast, we jump.
I think strap in is the term you're looking for, but we'll talk about strap-ons in our Kash and Dash After Dark episode.
The things you find. Did I ever show you that? Remember that picture I sent you from Gabe Ruiz when he founded his Airbnb?
No, I don't.
Are you serious? I never sent you that
Ted,
picture.
I'm still reeling from your strap-on content here.
Oh my gosh. Well, with that, no gold nuggets today, buddies, but I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And with that, Owen Dashner, we see us out.
On behalf of Ted Kaasch and Prison Aiden Bear, I'm Owen Dashner, and you're listening to the Kash and Dash Show, Unscripted. Sign off. On behalf of Ted Kaasch.
Are you okay?
Dude.
Are you okay?
Seriously. You have the worst timing.
I do.
The worst.
Yeah, I do it for you.
Are you done?
Baby.